Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the Premier League predictions. Now, for you, it hasn't been long since I've uploaded a video, but it's been over a week, I think, since I recorded a full 90 video, so I am absolutely buzzing to be back in the saddle recording Week 17 Premier League predictions. And before we get into that, I just want to say a massive thank you for all the support on the channel, the views, the comments, everything's been crazy. If you are new here, click the subscribe button and the bell to not miss a single upload, because we are getting so close to 2,500 subscribers, so let's try and hit that before Christmas Day. I think we can do it. So anyway, today, Week 17 predictions, and we can finally go back and look at my previous predictions. The last few videos I haven't been able to do that because I pre-recorded them for my holiday away. I want to give a massive shout out to iProThunder, a Liverpool fan who commented his predictions on the previous video, and I know he will be buzzing because not only did Liverpool get the 4-0 win against Bournemouth, they got the 1-0 win they needed against Napoli to qualify for the group stages, making my Champions League prediction correct, saying that PSG would top and Liverpool come second, leaving Napoli, unfortunately for them, in the Europa League spot. But anyway, we now get the chance to look back at my Week 16 predictions and how I did. Obviously, the games went down whilst I was away in Paris, but I'm back now and we can reflect. So the first game was Bournemouth versus Liverpool. I predicted a 3-1 win to Liverpool. They went 2 better and won 4-0, which definitely helped them, I think, going into the Napoli game, getting them that win as well. The next game, Burnley versus Brighton, I predicted a 2-1 win to Burnley, and it came out lower scoring than that, Burnley getting the 1-0 win, very much needed for them. If they're going to stay up in the Premier League, they need to get these wins at home, and they did the old Burnley 1-0, so that was good for them. Manchester United versus Fulham, I got wrong. I thought maybe Man United would have another big blip here and draw 2-2 with Fulham, but they actually played some fairly free-flowing football and were able to get a 4-1 win. I know it's against Fulham, I know they're the bottom of the league and they have the worst defence, but still, that is positive for Manchester United either way. The next game, Arsenal versus Huddersfield, I thought it would be end-to-end action, chances missed on both sides, high-scoring as Arsenal games often are. I thought it would be 3-1 to Arsenal. It actually finished 1-0 to Arsenal. Once again, draw half-time, Arsenal full-time. So that is something to be said. Now, in this video, okay, when I made the video, I predicted Southampton would beat Cardiff 2-1. I then saw some more results, and when I had updated knowledge, I made a little bet with Cardiff to win in it. So I did think Cardiff would win closer to the game time, but in the video, I predicted 2-1 Southampton, and Cardiff came out 1-0 winners there. But I'm going to give myself some slack on that one. I didn't have as much knowledge as I did when the game came around. The next one, similar again, I thought West Ham would win it, giving Crystal Palace's weakest squad, you know, on the day. But I did in the video predict 1-1 because that was kind of a safer prediction, obviously with the games being quite further ahead than when I made the video. It did end 3-2 to West Ham in an absolute thriller. Now, the one prediction that I cannot justify getting wrong, I predicted that Manchester City would beat Chelsea 2-0. It was completely reversed. Chelsea getting the 2 goals. I watched that game and it was very exciting. Chelsea getting that win, putting Liverpool at the top of the Premier League, who are flying at the moment. And now coming up, we have the only correct score prediction of the week, and that was Leicester versus Tottenham. I predicted a 2-0 win to Tottenham, and they did the business, as well as managing to get a draw against Barcelona. To be honest, I feel like they should have won that game. Yes, Coutinho hit the post twice, but Tottenham qualified for the round of 16, as well as Liverpool, Man United, and Man City, all English clubs going through in the Champions League, which is great, and they did, of course, get the win here against Leicester. The Newcastle versus Wolves game, I predicted 1-1, which would have been if it weren't for a very late Wolves goal, making it 2-1 to Wolves. Obviously, Newcastle, I think Yedlin got sent off about an hour in, which definitely didn't help them in that loss, unfortunate loss against Wolves. And the final game, Everton versus Watford, I predicted a 2-1 win to Everton, and it was actually 2-2. A very crazy game, I heard, the Everton and Watford game. So a lot of games there. We're now moving on to Week 17. So here we go. Kicking it off, we have Manchester City versus Everton. Everton, a bit hit and miss, but overall fairly solid. And City, they did lose to Chelsea 2-0, but I don't think that will hurt them too much. They are, at the time of recording, playing TSG Hoffenheim tonight. I'm expecting them to get a similar scoreline to the one I'm predicting here. In fact, I'm predicting the same scoreline in this game against Everton as I am against Hoffenheim. I'm going with 3-1 Manchester City against Everton, just too strong at home, getting that win. The next game is Crystal Palace against Leicester. Palace are having a difficult time, to be honest. If we look at the previous 2 weeks, Crystal Palace lost both of them. They lost to Brighton and they lost to West Ham, both away, and Crystal Palace are back at home. But actually, Crystal Palace's home form has not been that great. They're struggling to find the net, and I don't even know really what their squad's going to be like. I could have done a bit more research on this game, but I am going for a 2-1 Leicester win in this fixture. Moving on, we have a very important game. for the bottom of the table. Huddersfield versus Newcastle. Newcastle are on the way up for the most part, and Huddersfield look like they're on the way up, and then they're on the way down. It seemed that Newcastle played fairly well against Wolves, and I am tipping Newcastle, although they'll be without Yedlin, I am tipping Newcastle to win this one 1-0. Quite low scoring. You know, maybe Newcastle will score a lot. You never know. Maybe Huddersfield will score a couple like they did against Wolves. It could go either way, but I'm going to go with a low scoring 1-0 Newcastle win here. The next game is Tottenham hosting Burnley. Tottenham will be flying after their Champions League result, you know, really bouncing back from the North London derby a couple of weeks ago, and I do see Tottenham getting a convincing, this is my most convincing win I've predicted of the week, 3-0 win here for Tottenham. Harry Kane getting on the score sheet. If not, then I think Son will get on the score sheet. One of those two is going to score a goal, in my opinion. The next game is Watford against Cardiff, and Watford did play fairly well against Everton, all things considered. They missed quite a few chances. I do think Watford are going to beat Cardiff here. I have a lot of respect for Cardiff. I think out of a lot of the people that do predictions on YouTube, I've given Cardiff more credit than most. Obviously, some people you give Cardiff a lot more credit than I do, but I think I've given Cardiff a fair shout. But I do think Watford are going to be too strong for them at home, and I'm going for 3-1 here to Watford. The next game is Wolves versus Bournemouth, and this promises to be an interesting one because Wolves typically, there aren't a lot of goals in Wolves games. Very rarely does it go over 2.5. Obviously, it did the week before. However, Wolves are... I don't know about Wolves. Sometimes they're extremely good and, you know, you expect them to go and win a lot of games. And sometimes they're a little bit iffy. The same with Bournemouth. Bournemouth have had a very tricky run of fixtures. And I think as the season progresses and we get halfway and into the next half of fixtures, Bournemouth will start to see an improvement in results just based on the way their fixtures have been planned out. So this is going to be a difficult one. Bournemouth are away, which does play into the hands of Wolves. So I am going to go with an interesting and high-scoring 2-2 fixture result for this fixture. The next game is Fulham versus West Ham. Now, West Ham, they are picking up a bit. They are improving, and obviously winning against Crystal Palace, winning against Cardiff. This is the best run in the Premier League they've had for a couple of years, like back-to-back games-wise. So I'm actually tipping that West Ham will continue this with a 2-0 victory against Fulham. Quite brave to say that Fulham won't score, especially against someone like West Ham who do concede. If we look at the previous results here, we've got West Ham, they conceded 2 against Crystal Palace, and they conceded against Cardiff as well. So it's quite brave to say that West Ham will win 2-0 away at Fulham, but I'm just going for it. 2-0 West Ham. The next game, Southampton hosting Arsenal. Southampton need something. They need a miracle, but Arsenal unbeaten in 21 games at the time of recording. They might have Europa League on the day this video goes out. They probably do. I'm not entirely sure. So maybe their unbeaten run will have come to an end, but I highly doubt it. And I'm going for Arsenal to win this one 3-1. Once again, 1-1 half-time, 3-1 full-time for Arsenal Football Club to extend their unbeaten streak. I said many weeks ago it wouldn't happen again, but somehow it happened again. I missed out a fixture. It's on my list. I'm just going to talk about it real quick. It's Brighton hosting Chelsea, and I think this is going to be a very interesting game, but as it's just a voiceover and no face cam, I won't go too much into it, but I think it's going to be tighter than a lot of people think. Obviously, you might expect Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, say, to win this game comfortably, 3-0, something like that, but I'm going for a much closer Chelsea edge this game, 2-1 against Brighton. Still picking up the 3 points, but a lot closer than some people might have it. So now let's move on to the next game, the biggest game of the week. And the final game, it is the game of the week. It is Liverpool versus Manchester United. Now, I've been really interested in Manchester United, and I think actually tonight, out of all the Champions League games, I'm going to watch the Manchester United-Valencia game, I think. Obviously, Man City, Hoffenheim, it promises to be a great game, but I'm really interested in Manchester United lately, just because they're a big team. Obviously, they finished second last season, obviously away behind Man City, but still second is a great finish. They're qualified for the Champions League, but they're in such a dodgy spot, and something always happens in Manchester United games. I watched the Southampton game, it was 2-2. That was a great... Well, it was a great first half to watch, at least. And obviously, you know, I'm, like I said, watching the Valencia game tonight, probably. And Liverpool are very entertaining to watch. They've really tightened the screws at the back. They've conceded the least in the Premier League. They beat Napoli 0 in the Champions League, which is great for them. Their defence has been amazing. You know, Van Dijk and Alisson, the combination is great. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they turn up. I do think Liverpool are going to win this one at Anfield, but I don't think it's going to be as clear-cut as a lot of people think. I think Liverpool have had a fantastic run, beating Bournemouth 4-0, qualifying for the round of 16. I think they will top it off with a win over Man United, keeping them at the top of the table, which would be phenomenal for them. But I'm going with a 2-1 score prediction because Manchester United are so unpredictable. They could win this game 2-1. Man United could win this game at Anfield. Unlikely to happen, but it wouldn't in a way surprise me if it did. They've got the talent for it. It's just whether or not they can gel. And I just think Liverpool are better at that at the moment. I think they are going to win, but I don't think it's going to be clear cut. I think it's going to be a very entertaining game. Will I watch it? I'm not sure. If I'm available, if I'm around, I will definitely watch it, but that promises to be a great game. And like I said, I've been really interested in Manchester United lately, watching a lot of fan channels. I watch most live streams from the United stand with Mark Goldbridge. He's a funny character, so I watch that. And yeah, promises to be some very great and interesting games for this weekend. So that is going to do it for my Premier League Week 17 predictions. So if you did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like on it. I've had a few comments asking when my betting series is. I've ended Beat the Bookies. I did a little trial run of one episode, and it was a successful episode. Made a bit of money, which was great. But if I do bring betting videos back, I'm going to do it differently. The way I did that first video, I basically made a load of bets, saw the outcome, and then spoke to you all about it. I think I'm going to go down more of the route of making predictions / betting tips, you know, not like crazy tenfold bets or anything like that, like I did in the Beat the Bookies video, but more like sort of trebles, doubles, good odds, dark horses, that sort of thing, betting tip videos across all leagues potentially. For the weekends, I might do a treble series where I compile, say, 3 or 4 trebles that I reckon you guys should go for that have decent value. We'll see, but I do see your comments about the betting videos. Will they come back? I can't guarantee it. I'm 50-50 at the moment, but over the next few days, we'll see if I can figure something out and maybe get some videos up before the new year, going into that and seeing if we can come up with some sort of series. But either way, that is going to do it for this video. If you did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like on it. Like I said, subscribe today. Help us reach 2,500 subscribers. You are all awesome. Leave your comments down below for a chance to be featured in the next video. And yeah, until then, I'll catch you later.